All right, man. Rounding out things this week in Mississippi college football, we had Ole Miss knock off LSU, Mississippi State beat Vandy, who I have said before, get them out of the SEC. I know y'all told me about baseball and everything like that. Okay, cool. And I know State just won a national championship in baseball, but the SEC is known for football, and Vandy is just like a homecoming game for everybody every week. So I don't even like to talk about a team beating Vandy, but there it is. Alcorn knocked off Texas Southern, and it seems like they continue the collision course headed towards Jackson State in that Soul Bowl. All right. It looked like it's going to be an eventful week. And in our undergraduate alma mater, Southern Miss is making a switch. Southern Miss is stepping up and heading to the Big 12 finally.
No.
Wrong. They gonna replace Vandy in the SEC. They gonna go ahead and jump in there and take Vandy's spot. That's what's gonna happen. That's what you're telling me.
No.
Southern Miss is headed to the Sun Belt. Which, before y'all go on, I feel like it's a horizontal move.
Yeah.
I just view the Sun Belt like basically Conference USA. Like what's all the news about? Like, maybe I'm wrong.
You want why everybody excited?
Yeah, I'm like, folks, Southern Miss alums just turning up a little bit. Like, okay, yeah, we. And I'm like, maybe I'm wrong. So maybe y'all can check me on this. And am I supposed to be excited about this? And I need to get my act together. Caesar, I'll go to you first on that.
I'm going to lay out a case for you to be excited about. I don't know if you will be, but I'll lay out a case.
Please do that for me then.
Okay. All right. So look at it like this. We know what we're getting when it comes to Conference USA football. It's not exciting at all. That's the problem. Like, it's not exciting at all, man. And the guys that you see on this screen, America, we are Conference USA guys. Like when we were at Southern Miss, that was the conference. And at the time, the conference had some juice. It did. It had some juice, man. Had real power players in Southern Miss, in Memphis, in Marquette. Like when it came to basketball, like we had those teams, Louisville, those institutions, TCU that made it worthwhile. Okay,
Cincinnati at one point.
Well, those teams,
number 2 team in the country right now, ain't it?
Those teams are left for greener pastures. Ideally, I wanted Southern Miss, and I don't know if they did. I don't know, so I'm saying this as a fan right now. I wanted them to apply and fight for the opportunity to be in the AAC, the American Athletic Conference. That's where you saw a couple of other Conference USA teams leave and apply for that conference. To me, the AAC is the best of the small conferences. They have Memphis, they have Cincinnati, they have Central Florida. Like they have those teams that if there's ever going to be a Cinderella team to compete in the college football playoff, it's going to come from the AAC. I will say this, Wells. If there is a runner-up to the best of small conferences, or at least the exciting of small conferences, Sun Belt can hold their own, man. They have good teams. They have good teams that are going to compete when they're matched up against each other. And they have teams that make name for themselves and pulling off certain upsets. I'll give you an example. Coastal Carolina, last year, granted it was COVID, they had a good run last year. Coastal Carolina was a nationally ranked team. You want to talk about Troy, Georgia State, Louisiana Lafayette has been nationally ranked at one point or another. I'm not telling you that we're going to be, the conference that goes out and beats an SEC school or ACC school every week, but I am telling you we have taken a step up. The reality of it is this: Conference USA may be done, and I mean like they may cease to exist after a year or so because of the teams that are leaving. And it's unfortunate, but when you look at conference realignment, and it starts with the big boys, as you come down to the smaller scale, this is what it looks like. You have to go somewhere where you can make a profit and you can play in meaningful games. And nobody on this show, or any show for that matter, can say that Southern Miss has played in a meaningful game in quite a while.
You just gave me highs and lows on that.
Yeah, I mean, no, I did.
You gave me reason to be hopeful about this move, and then you reminded me that we haven't won a meaningful game in quite some
In a while. In a while.
JoJo.
Yeah.
This move, man, and other things transpiring this week. in this college football.
Well, Ole Miss, they did that thing against LSU.
Mhm.
LSU is not the LSU that we know, but they did just beat Florida not too long ago. Mississippi
I
State.
know you hate to say that.
Yeah, I did. Mississippi State, they did what they were supposed to do. Tell Vandy they are not a football school.
They got a big one next week though against Kentucky.
Big one. Big one. Alcorn. I'm ready for the collision. That's what I'm waiting on. I'm ready for the collision.
One game at a time, Joe. They got Valley next. Don't do it.
I know, but I want both teams to win out.
Right.
And let's make this massive, man. Southern Miss to the Sun Belt. As Ray said, Coastal Carolina, they were ranked, and I think they was actually ranked this year as well until they just got beat by somebody. But he mentioned Louisiana Lafayette. They're actually really good. And I'm not just saying this because my niece is the director of on-campus recruiting there.
Shout out.
Hold on. Yeah, they got choppy again. I'm getting a signal over here.
Yeah, you started pixelating a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I was getting a signal, which I don't know why because I'm plugged in. So
okay,
maybe that's because I got on the Wi-Fi. It shouldn't matter, but okay. All right, so
where you need me to go back to?
Just when you mentioned the stuff about your your kinfolk being on there. All that came through fine, but then I don't know what
go over it.
I don't know what was said.
Okay,
yeah. Start with the Lafayette thing or something like that.
Okay, gotcha. Southern Miss going to the Sun Belt Conference. As Ray stated, Coastal Carolina, they were really good last year. They were ranked. They was actually ranked this year until they lost. But he also mentioned Louisiana Lafayette. They're a really good program. And I'm not just saying this because my niece is the director of on-campus recruiting there. I actually
Shout out, Joe. Yeah.
Right. I never watched one of their games ever until she got that job. But then I started they are really good. Like literally, they just ran for almost 300 yards rushing on a Thursday night game.
Mm-hmm.
But I did text her and I told her, I said, look, my alma mater gonna be coming to your conference. Please kick their tail. Blood thicker than water, man. Blood thicker than water.
Okay, you know what? All right, count the basket.
Yeah.
Count the basket on that.
That's my Mississippi. Honestly, with Southern Miss, I really wish I could come on here and boast, but they got to give me something to boast about.
Well, they're not even boasting. Listen, on Instagram, this is a true story.
Okay.
On Instagram, I'll pull it up just in case people don't believe me. Southern Miss, and they may be talking about something different, but as a fan, here's how I took it. It said 7 down, 5 to go. It's like they're counting down for the season to be over. Now, they're probably talking about, I don't know. I don't know. What I'm telling you is you can't post 7 down, 5 to go, and we're horrible. It's like you are literally waiting for the season to end.
Yeah.
So while we can enter, I think the clause is like you can enter, 2023, but I think there's a way that they can buy out and get in there even sooner. If I was Southern Miss, I would reach out to any and everybody, Brett Favre, Ray Guy, anybody, and simply say, let's get all the money we can for this buyout.
And Brett definitely got the money.
Well, maybe not Brett Favre, but I digress. And say, let's get out of Conference USA as soon as possible, because I'm just telling you, man, every single Saturday, any and everybody is marketing themselves on television.
Right.
And you can't tell me because I play in Conference USA, I can't be on television and market myself. Jackson State and the SWAC are marketing themselves in ways that we have never seen. So it's possible. And you don't have to be on the main ESPN one. You could be on ESPN 13, like Coach Prime says. You can literally be on there and market your institution. If nothing else, you're missing that as Southern Miss Athletics and Southern Miss as an educational institution. So I would say get out as soon as you can and join the ranks, man. Again, I'm just telling you, meaningful games can happen if you play at Arkansas State, a Coastal Carolina, a Louisiana Lafayette, right? A South Alabama. Like, these are teams that are playing meaningful games. They'll play Ole Miss. They'll play Mississippi State. They'll play Alabama every year. The only game that we play and it's not meaningful, we play against Alabama or Florida, and then we just get the crap kicked out of us.
Pretty much.
For a paycheck. But wouldn't you like to be in some games where you can pull better recruiting and you may be able to pull off a top 25 upset every now and then? That's what made it exciting when we were at Southern Miss. You go and play in Nebraska and win in the Sea of Red, or beat TCU with BCS at the time implications. Like, that's meaningful stuff. And it doesn't matter what conference you're in. Everybody wants to play for championships. So even if you can say, I won a Sun Belt championship, well, it's better than saying 7 down, 5 to go.
Well, I said it last week. They need to give me a reason. They need to give me a reason to stay here.
Yeah.
Like Tracy Chapman said. Until they give
Was
me
that enough, though?
No.
Was that enough?
No, it's not. No, it's not. Like I said, I still think that's a lateral move.
Well, maybe
when you said Cincinnati,
yeah,
and UCL,
yeah,
and those teams,
I know.
I look at them and I say, okay, they did it, and I wonder why can't we? We were all in the same conference, and they have moved on. So I'm looking at the standings right now. Cincinnati is the number 2 ranked team in all of America.
I know.
UCL had an undefeated season and gave themselves a mythical national championship. We were all in the same conference.
Didn't Memphis play like in the Cotton Bowl a few years back? Or that, like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I know.
Okay,
I know.
We were all in the same conference. So I'm like, where is that? Like, you're not gonna pacify me with just moving to the Sun Belt like that for real. You know what I'm talking about? I want to. Why aren't we this? Okay, especially when you say you got Brett Favre and his money. Okay, you got some of these other guys that we know have made it to the league. You know what I'm talking about? Patrick Surtain, for instance. You know what I'm talking about? You got these guys. So I'm gonna move on from them and talk about somebody who actually doing something right here.
Okay.
And that's Ole Miss. I'm looking at these rankings.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Lane Kiffin with the popcorn statement and all that kind of crap. That was ignorant. Okay, but they still 6-1.
Yeah, it's true.
And so I'm looking at who's above them. Georgia is rolling. Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Cincinnati, I'll have to see. I need to look at their schedule and kind of see who else they got. I don't know if they're competition like that for real. But hey, they number 2.
They're number 2. I've seen them play against. They played against Navy this past weekend. They played against Notre Dame in that big matchup of like top 6 or something like that. They're good.
You know how I feel about Notre Dame, though.
Yeah,
you know
I
Notre
get
Dame
it.
always.
I get it.
I just think Ole Miss could beat Oklahoma. Everybody named Mama almost beating Oklahoma already.
True. That's a fact. Yeah.
I got Ohio State and Michigan above them at 5 and 6. Somebody got to take an L there.
True.
One of them is going to lose in their big rivalry game. I got Michigan State ahead of them. I don't know. I had to check the schedule real quick to see if Michigan State has already played Michigan or Ohio State. I had to double check that. Iowa is above them. Like, some of these folks still got games that they probably going to lose, but you can say the same for Ole Miss.
Yeah.
They got Auburn. Well, they got to win against Liberty coming up. They got Texas A&M.
Mm-hmm.
They got to win against Vandy coming up.
Yeah.
And they got the Egg Bowl.
And they play Michigan this weekend.
Who that?
Michigan State.
Okay, so somebody got to fall. So they haven't expanded the playoff yet, right?
Not yet.
Do you think Ole Miss still got a shot to make it as is then?
Alabama would have to lose. That's just my first thought because Georgia is going to run the table on their side. So even if Alabama beats them in the SEC championship, they're going to get that spot. They're still going to get a second SEC spot. It won't be 3. So Alabama would have to lose now in order for like Ole Miss to leapfrog them and win out. 2 losses versus 1.
Maybe then the rivalry game, with Auburn.
Yeah,
because they got LSU, New Mexico State, Arkansas. I'm talking about Bama now.
Right.
They got LSU, New Mexico State, Arkansas, and Auburn. So it's looking like
it hinges on the Iron Bowl simply because Alabama is not unbeatable, even though they look like it when they played Ole Miss. They're not just untouchable like that we know them to be. And Auburn's good, man. Auburn's good. I know they've had like some game where they've been less than impressive, but they're really good. They're a really good team. So I think it can happen. It's just a matter of if.
Now, Ole Miss, them playing State, that scares me.
Yeah, that's always something. Always having that rivalry game, those emotions and everything like that.
And I gotta say, with Will Rogers going 41 and 57 for 384 yards and 4 touchdowns, they click. You know what? If there are any high school quarterbacks that watch our show, if you want to throw the ball all over the field, go to State.
Bro,
it's the truth.
It seems like every week we mention these boys, this man throwing the ball 60 times.
You know what? As a matter of fact, Mr. Will, ice up, son.
Yeah.
Because I know that arm so, man.
God. Oh.
It's the place to be, man. He came in at a perfect time with the perfect guy if you're a quarterback, because all you're going to do is spin it. And I know the knock is once you get to the next level, if you are talented enough to get to the next level, it's kind of a knock to be in an air raid offense. But I'm just telling you, if you just want to go play college ball and shine, you can do a lot worse,
right,
than to play for Mike Leach's quarterback. I know he's spaced out, but the guy can scheme up for a quarterback. That's for sure.
For sure.
Real quick, before I mention Alcorn, since we're talking SEC, because we didn't talk about this since the news broke. LSU, bro, just won a ship not too long ago.
I know.
And now their coach is on the outs. Everybody was calling this man like Mr. Louisiana, like just how he talks and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And he was the toast of the town.
Yeah.
Like, this is a fall from grace for real, man.
Ed, from what it sounds like, Ed Ogeron's off the field life is what got him fired. Not so much the now, yeah, it's on the field too, but that off the field is kind of what made it easier to get him out of there. Mm-hmm. Ed's history is he can be in a place for like 2 to 3 years, man. He's one of the best recruiters in America. That's the first thing. And then he can coach offensive or even defensive line. Like, he's really good at that. He's elite at both of those positions. So it's always good to have Ed Ogeron on your team. It's when you elevate him to be the guy in charge of the culture.
Now, didn't he have a hot second at Ole Miss?
Yeah, he coached at Ole Miss. He did. He coached at Ole Miss and was replaced by Houston Nutt. And Houston Nutt was able to go to those back-to-back Cotton Bowls. I don't know if y'all remember, they went to back-to-back Cotton Bowls, but he went really on Ed Ogeron's recruiting classes. He can do that. He did the same thing out of USC when they were popping again for a minute.
He Larry Station.
Right? Yeah. he was I think he was offensive or defensive line coach out there at USC. They got rid of their head coach. He became the interim. The players loved him. He got him back to prominence. Mm-hmm. But once you give him that permanent title, things just tend to go wrong. You don't find a lot of his players that have bad things to say about Ed Ogeron, especially like you said, well, for him to be at LSU, he's a Louisiana guy. You hear it in his voice. Yeah. And he brought them, unlike those other places, he brought them a national championship. that just lets you know how bad it must be on the outside if you win a national championship for an SEC blue blood and they still say thank you, but no thank you.
We got 2 cats in the league right now shining with Burrow and Chase.
No doubt.
Got a guy starting in this game right now that's on my TV with the Seahawks, young kid from Canton, you know what I'm saying, my hometown, Damian Lewis. And it seemed like Damian likes him. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. But just want to throw that in there. Joe.
Yeah.
Alcorn Southern. So you picking Alcorn to win this one? You picking them to win this one, or you just want them to win it so it can be smoke
at the end of the year? My earlier statement was I want them to win this one. Okay. I'm gonna give the Alcorn fans something to hang their hat on, right?
Because they don't think you give them that, Joe.
I know. Honestly, as a JSU fan, I am a little scared of them. Because I know of all the issues that they're having. You know how sometimes teams have that aura that it just propel them to like new heights.
Mm-hmm. And when you talk about issues, you talking about like not the players per se, but just all the about the administrative stuff.
All the administrative stuff, right? Yeah. Stuff that's supposed to be in place for these kids to succeed.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
But yeah, that kind of scares me because the whole rallying cry, like that's a real thing in sports. So hang your hat on that. I really hope y'all beat Southern. I'll be rooting for you because I really want this head-on collision.
Southern coming off a loss to Prairie View, 48-21. So, I mean, they should be motivated. You know what I'm saying? Coming off, but Prairie View good this year. You know what I'm saying? Prairie View handling business. And they got a young man that ran the ball for 13 carries for $108 at 8.3 a clip. So, and I've seen what Alcorn could do with that offense when they came back against was that Pine Bluff?
Pine Bluff or Prairie View? One of them.
They rallied back against Pine Bluff, I want to say. Yeah. Those boys can be electric. At least that's what they were in the second half. You know what I'm talking about?
Right.
So Southern can't be doing it. They had another kid, Prairie View did. He ran 12 times for 83 yards. Then they had another kid ran 3 times for 16. So this is what they average now. The first kid, Brooks, 8.3 on the clip. The next kid, Stewart, 6.9 a clip. And Goodwater, 5.3 a clip.
What are they, the Baltimore Ravens?
I don't know. But that look like probably going to be a dub for Alcorn, man. If Southern giving it up on the ground like that, that's probably going to be a dub. But, hey, we know how it is in the SWAC. We shall see. You know what I'm saying? They could get knocked out. But, America, y'all chime in and tell us what you thought about this week in Mississippi College football. Put it on something. My kids wanted me to tell y'all to make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow me across all social media platforms, like the videos, and share them. Did I forget anything?
And turn on the post notifications.
Y'all heard them. And also, visit Statement Tees, LLC.com, and shop with us. That's Statement Tees. Every t-shirt you wear
makes a statement.